fear often controls how we shape our perceptions of the world. Today I'm driving this long stretch of highway that carves through the California landscape, trying to make sense of the current global disorientation. We've lost connection to economic stability. People feel unsafe. There is an accelerating feeling of discomfort around how we relate to one another across cultures. The community where I feel safe is the community I've found and built. I try to approach life without the kind of fear that's gripping the world, so today we're going to talk about fear and how to manage it while we ascend 8,500 feet into the air on the world's largest rotating aerial tramway in Palm Springs, California. Let's see what insights we can gain from changing our perspectives. The Palm Springs Aerial Tramway is a mechanical spider climbing up into the clouds, attached to nothing but hope and engineering. Normally, it's hot sunburned desert at your feet and freezing alpine air somewhere impossibly above. Today we're going to do a twilight climb and a short night walk together. A single cable, a thin thread of trust, suspends you between certainty and oblivion. Your palms sweat, your heart pounds, and you think, why am I doing this? Why willingly surrender control? But isn't this feeling familiar? Doesn't life often place us precisely here, suspended in midair between opposing certainties, between comfort and discomfort, safety and vulnerability? Isn't that exactly the feeling you get every time you scroll your newsfeed? Baudrillard once said, our contemporary society exists in a state of simulation, where reality and its representation blur seamlessly. And perhaps nowhere is this clearer than in politics. To disassociate from the feeling of dread that builds between this thin layer of metal beneath your feet and the hundreds of feet of air on which you find yourself, a certain level of disbelief is required. Zen teaches us to yield to things we can't change. Choosing to remember you stand on a solid platform can be the same as choosing to focus on your local community, family, and friends as war, famine, and unrest erupt on a global scale. Keep your anxieties in check by seeing the immediate and filtering down to what's in your control. When the tramcar begins its climb, the ground gradually falls away, and the familiar becomes unfamiliar. Rocks shrink into pebbles, trees into tiny points of green, and slowly, a breathtaking yet terrifying openness unfolds around you. Suddenly, you are deeply aware of your fragility, of the immense spaces that define your smallness. You grip the railing tighter, heart beating louder, sensing both a threat and liberation. We grip tightly to beliefs, opinions, and identities because releasing them feels like free-falling. We need to learn to let go of our perceptions of who we are and who we think those around us are. We need to exist as fluid entities and let go of the plans that made sense in a world that no longer exists. It's no wonder we fear confrontation, disagreement, and change. We're terrified of heights where we realize how little we truly control. Meaning isn't found in solid truths, but in the fluidity between definitions. Likewise, facing our fears, whether heights or the contrast between the world we believed and the world we experience, is an act of deconstruction. It's admitting that our understandings and fears, like the tramway's cables, are thin lines stretched over uncertainty. As you ascend higher, the view transforms into something spectacular, panoramic, all-encompassing. But you can only appreciate this breathtaking perspective by first enduring the discomfort of ascent. Likewise, political and social fears keep us trapped in narrow visions, unable or unwilling to look out beyond our immediate surroundings. Fear, especially social fear, is like the vertigo that comes when you peer down from a great height. It distorts reality, makes solid ground feel shaky, and induces retreat back into the familiar, the stable, even when the familiar is limiting or harmful. Foucault once argued that society's deepest structures are invisible systems of power, shaping how we see and engage with the world. Much like the tramway itself, society holds us aloft on invisible structures of belief and trust. When trust erodes, when beliefs are questioned, we feel as though the cable might snap. Political fear thrives precisely here, in the belief that when a cable snaps, it will plunge us into chaos, Yet maybe that's our greatest illusion. We need to assess what are real threats versus mirages. Stripping away the freedom to live as our authentic selves and question authority is a real, tangible threat. Manufactured, fake, foreign invasions aren't. Assessing the danger properly helps you to know where to act. Like life, the landscape changes gradually, almost imperceptibly, until suddenly you're in a different world. The air is cooler, the light different. It's a powerful reminder that social and political landscapes also shift subtly, that progress or regression happens quietly until suddenly, dramatically, it's undeniable. We need to watch for the changes as they happen, so we still have power to affect the outcomes. As the tram reaches its peak, a realization dawns. The fear, once so overwhelming, has subsided. The grandeur of the view, the exhilaration of achievement, overshadows the terror that was once so paralyzing. And this is crucial. Fear fades when confronted directly and honestly. It reveals itself not as the insurmountable barrier we imagined, but as an ephemeral emotion, transient, manageable, even beneficial. By being strategic, open, and choosing your actions wisely, you can find your footing. Zizek famously said that real freedom isn't freedom from fear, but the ability to confront and navigate fear. Realizing that our fears are manageable gives us the courage to engage authentically in the complexities of our society. Zizek insists we must enjoy our symptoms, our fears, and anxieties, because within them lie deeper truths about ourselves and the structures we inhabit. So, the next time you scroll through your feed or see an injustice you can affect, remember the fear you felt stepping aboard this skyway. Remember how it gradually dissipated with the rising altitude and expanding perspective. Perhaps confronting our political and social anxieties requires exactly that: a willingness to step onto uncertain platforms, engage with different perspectives, and ultimately trust the strength of communal bonds. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your experiences in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this journey, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep exploring the heights and depths of the human experience together. I'm Decker, the Phantom Astronaut, and I'll see you out there.